That's what Max is about. He's not, look at me, look what I did. He's a disruptor.
You respond the way you do, that helps build confidence, not only for the coaching staff and players, but also players to the coaching staff and the team as well.
Ashton Jeanty is being slowly worked into the NFL life, but he's flashed.
Welcome to Raiders Roundtable, presented by America First Credit Union. I'm JT. That's the Hall of Fame corner. Eric Allen, and a heartbreaking loss for the Silver and Black, 25-24 to the Bears. A game that it looked like the Raiders were in control of it in the second half, but they left the Bears a couple opportunities and they came back and won the game.
Yeah, let this one slip away, JT. And as we were all kind of with our fingers crossed and whatever we were trying to do to get that field goal to go in, it's just crushing the way that this football team played outside of the quarterback. Should have won this football game. Just a really good performance by the defense. The tackling was much better. The running game, obviously, with the rushing yards we have over 240. I thought the combination of the 1-2 punch with Ashton and Raheem was just perfectly drawn up. Offensive line, interior, what we talked about so much going into this week, did a pretty good job. But overall, just not enough. And that's kind of what football is. You can play 3 quarters of great football, and one play, one situation is kind of will tell you if you can win or lose.
What happened in this game is Ashton Jeanty had a brilliant game, and Max had, I think, one of his best games ever at Allegiant Stadium, and the Raiders still weren't able to win because of the turnover battle. Gino is in a struggle right now.
He is.
Gino is looking right at defenders here. I'm very surprised by that because I know how good of a player Gino is, and I know he's going to bounce back. His leadership, we talk about, it's been incredible, but he's got to be better because those turnovers are really costing the Raiders these games.
Yes, and that's the one stat I think we've seen enough football to kind of understand the turnover battle is really the most important stat at the end of football games. And they were able to control the football, put themselves in really good positions, even though the defense kind of stood up and had some forced turnovers, made them kick field goals. But again, just the turnovers in those situations are just so difficult to overcome.
Here's where I think the game was lost. The Raiders had an opportunity. They're up 2. They could go up 9. And they're on this unbelievable drive that starts off here with 8:15 to go. You're looking at this drive, and the Raiders are chipping away. But then they run it to Ashton. He loses a yard. This is 1st and goal at the 7. Next play, they go inside. They lose 3. So right now, it's at the 11. It started at the 7. And then look at this play. Pressure. Gino checks down. And it wasn't a great ball, even if it's caught.
Yeah.
They're going to be short here. They didn't go in the end zone. The Raiders settled for a field goal there. And when they settled for a field goal, I was sitting with Lincoln Kennedy and I said, that's the game.
Yeah.
That could cost us the game if we don't get a stop. The Raiders didn't get a stop. And I'm just trying to figure out why the Raiders didn't go for the game right there to attack the end zone with Brock Bowers. I think guys are banged up. And maybe they're not confident yet with Gino because the running game was doing so well.
I tell you, JT, all in a nutshell, that was really significant, those plays that you pulled, because when you look at it, you have to think about what has happened before that. Gino is really struggling right now. So usually on the first couple downs, you're going to run once and you're going to throw once. You're going to find a way to put your best passing, your best red zone pass in a situation on 1st or 2nd down. And if you're not able to get in the end zone, then on 3rd down, the defense, you kind of put them on their heels because you've run once, you've thrown the ball maybe a couple times. But since the lack of confidence in Gino, because of his turnovers early in the game, just makes you put the situation all in the running game early on. Hopefully you're able to run the football in and get it there. But again, it all goes back to the confidence or the lack thereof of Geno Smith because the way he performed earlier in the game.
Yeah, I just wish they would have punched it in. I don't think the Bears down 9 could have came back.
The pass play was a good pass play. I mean, they dialed up a good pass play. You have a long guy who has the opportunity to catch it and maybe reach in, but the ball just wasn't a good thrown ball.
Let's talk about Max Crosby and his performance in this game. I mean, the stats are amazing. 3 tackles for losses, a quarterback hit. He had an interception, 3 pass defended. Mad Max, just a tremendous performance.
Yeah, that's like an all Madden performance. You could hear the coach Madden just talk about how Max is playing at that point. Just total dominance. And earlier the day, people were talking about, yeah, Max needs to show up a little bit earlier in the game. Yeah, he showed up early, from the first quarter all the way to the fourth. The pick, the hands up, just playing smart football, choosing gaps at the appropriate time. He's really becoming a student of the game. This is one area of football that I really enjoy watching him play. His endurance to be able to play at 100% from snap one to the last snap of the football game is still very impressive. He is the reason why this football team was still in it at the end. And again, games like this, at the end of the season, we're going to be really thinking about these kind of things, these kind of games with him as Defensive Player of the Year, maybe.
Let's hear from Max Crosby after the game.
My game is I want to go out there and wreck everything, and I feel like I do that at a very, very high level. And wasn't enough today. I got to do more, but we got to do more as a team to win.
Max, how tough is this loss on you and your teammates? Knowing
So
you had it.
it sucks to lose. That's it.
Yeah, he's going through an interesting stretch in his career now.
Yeah.
Because he's playing at such a high level, and he's doing everything to deliver this team wins and put him in the right position. And then there's these heartbreaking losses that you look at a couple of mistakes. Not many mistakes are coming from Max.
Yeah, it's interesting, JT, that the three most dominant defensive players, him, Watt and Steelers, and of course Myles Garrett in Cleveland, are all tremendous Hall of Fame type players and are struggling getting W's, which is more important, which we want to see these performances in the playoffs, in championship games, and we just need to find a way to win games like this so we can put Max in a situation, and other players who are great in playoff games, in championship settings, so everyone could see this performance that we see every week.
Let's take a look at the rushing defense, which they needed a bounce back game.
Yeah, they did.
69 rushing yards the week before against the Commanders, 201. We spent a lot of time talking about tackling and what they were going to have to do. They were able to pull that off. Pete Carroll had them ready to tackle in this game.
He really did, and we were fortunate enough to talk to Kurt Morrison before the games at the Torch, and he talked a lot about leverage and guys being in the right spot but just not bringing him down, all those things. And I told him, I said, leverage is a part of tackling.
Yeah.
You can't have one without the other. I thought excellent job, but particularly the middle linebackers. I thought they did a really great job of hitting the holes, getting their shoulders square, getting their runners on the ground, not allowing runners to bounce off after first contact, had a lot of gang tackling. I just thought just the defense, the momentum, everything that we saw the previous week, they were able to fix. And that's why you have to have confidence in this coaching staff to be able to fix some of these things that are issues and problems from one week to another. But congratulations to the defense. Patrick Graham did an amazing job of having this defense ready to play.
Ashton Jeanty becomes the first rookie with a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown since Bo Jackson in 1987. Let's hear what he had to say.
Feels all right, I guess. I mean, to me, it's all about winning, not personal performance, team success. So I'm more about winning, putting W's on the stat sheet than my own personal stats.
There was a lot of things said nationally last week about him.
Yes.
And I went on the radio and said, he's going to make you pay.
Yeah.
And he was going to have that game. And he was brilliant in this game. I go back to the first game in the rain at New England. He got his first touchdown. He secured the football.
Yeah.
It was a little victory for him in a win. This was a power performance. The fans at Allegiant Stadium were on their feet every time he touched the ball.
I tell you what, he's saying the right things. And as he's saying that, like, hey, it's about the team, it's about getting team wins, and he knows he's that guy. And what an amazing performance. And we don't like to say it, but we hear the outside noise. It seeps through, and it's a point of emphasis when you play and have a big game. This is something that we've seen spurts of this throughout the season and preseason, him being able to never allow the first guy to bring him down. So this is in his arsenal, and we can continue to see this. It's over the league now, so this gives us an opportunity to maybe work off play action, be under center a little bit more. So this is going to be an interesting couple of weeks here, because the first thing a defense is going to try and do is stop the run. So they're going to bring that safety, bring that extra linebacker in the box, JT, and we have to find a way to have success down the football field. That game yesterday, JT, should not have even been close. we shouldn't have been lining up for a field goal at the end of the football game. We should have blown the Bears out with the performance of the defense and the running game rushing for over 200 yards. There's no way we should have been close in that football game.
It was good to see Jackson Powers-Johnson at right guard back in the lineup. Here's what he had to say.
I just loved going out there and playing football. And it was great to play around my guys. DJ played one hell of a game. Jordan played one hell of a game. And everybody played one hell of a game. So there's things to work on. But I think the cohesiveness and how everything was running, I think it was a lot better product than weeks before, and even with week one.
He also wanted to get out there and play.
Yes.
You know, you played, you got a gold jacket. He's a young player. He just wants snaps.
Right.
He wants to prove to the fan base and the coaching staff that he could develop into
Did he
one
have
of the
a
better
cowboy
players
hat on
in the
right there?
league. He had a cowboy hat.
Let me tell you something. I think he has endeared himself to Raider Nation. He is a Raider. No matter what happens the rest of the way with this young man, his battle back to get back on the football field, he's always the guy who gets to the second level and is trying to mop up some safeties or some linebackers. I mean, he's just brings a smile to my face. I hope Raider Nation really appreciates what this guy has continued to do and work hard, even after all the off-field stuff, the concussion, whatever. I mean, he is a Raider guy. Just love the way he plays, his physical attitude. We need a little bit more of that.
Absolutely. He knows what he has to do. He's got to bring his energy to every game. When we come back, Paul Gutierrez from Raiders.com and the great Lincoln Kennedy on the offensive line and what we need to do next.
Let's see, string cheese, ooh, soda.
Surprise! You have a brother.
Hi. Whoa. Why didn't you tell me before?
Well, we just got him.
For opening a new account at America First Credit Union.
Which, surprise number 2, you're moving out and living at America First.
Huh?
Get your money working. For a limited time, new members get a cash bonus when they open a checking account.
And a blue moon.
Wow, that is a delicious looking orange slice.
Thank you. That's actually my son's slice. Proud of you, son.
Thanks, Dad.
I'm sorry, this is a slice of your son?
Look, it's an honor to be chosen for a blue moon.
Well, if it's an honor.
Yeah.
No! Just kidding.
That was a really good one.
The larger one is the dad.
Nothing outshines a blue moon.
At Cox, we're always a step ahead. There you go. I'll show you. Like, before your basement became Movie Central, we made sure you'd have strong Wi-Fi, even down here. And you can rest easy knowing the price of your plan won't go up for 3 years. Guaranteed. See? He's looking out for you, and so are we, with advanced security that blocks threats on your network. Good boy. Whatever the future brings, Cox will keep you a step ahead. Oh.
Raiders Roundtable is brought to you by America First Credit Union, the official credit union of the Las Vegas Raiders. Coors Light, choose chill, an official beer of Raider Nation. Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Hey, welcome back to Raiders Roundtable. I'm Paul Gutierrez here with my 3 takeaways from Sunday's heartbreaking loss to the Chicago Bears. Number 1, in open space, Ashton Jeanty is a problem for opposing defenses, obviously. But this is what was expected of Ashton when the Raiders used the number 6 overall pick on him last spring. Breathtaking runs, making opponents look silly while breaking tackles and scoring touchdowns, and yes, breathtaking runs. Just like on his 64-yarder down the left sideline that included him high-stepping his way out of Kevin Byard III's attempt at a leg tackle. Ashton finished with a career-high 138 rushing yards, and he scored 3 touchdowns, 2 by air. As he told me at his locker after the game, "I've got confidence in myself in open space against anybody." Well, then expect Ashton to be used even more as a pass catcher, in space. And if the offensive line can give him more opportunities to create on his own, like on that long touchdown run, he'll be even more of a problem for opposing defenses. Number 2, Max Crosby has given off Khalil Mack circa 2016 vibes. Quick, who was the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year 9 seasons ago? Yeah, the former Raider. But with his performance against the Bears, especially in the first 3 quarters, Max may be angling to join Khalil in that record book. 3 tackles for a loss, 3 passes defensed, his first career interception, a forced fumble. Max took over the game for the Raiders early, but not even his tour de force performance was enough to overcome the 4 turnovers by the offense and that fateful blocked field goal. Ouch. As Max said, we've got to find a way to not make it so hard on ourselves. It's the only thing we can do. Well, I can think of a few other things. Besides, when Khalil won the award, the Raiders went 12-4 and they were a playoff team. Number 3, even with the huge rushing day, there are still issues with the offensive line. Yes, the Raiders rushed for 240 yards, their most as a team since November 27, 2022, against Pete Carroll's Seattle Seahawks. Irony much? No doubt Ashton Jeanty gave fans in the franchise a sneak peek of things to come. Hopefully. But there were still too many times when Raiders running backs were hit at or behind the line of scrimmage, and when picking up 2 yards would have made Daniel Carlson's potential game-winning field goal more of a sure thing. Replacement left tackle Stone Forsythe, he went left. Left guard Dylan Parham, he went right. And Kevin Byard III, well, he was unblocked, so Ashton was hit for a 1-yard loss. Oh, and foundational left tackle Colton Miller, he's dealing with a sprained right ankle that will bear watching. In other words, stay tuned. So for more on Sunday's game and what Ashton Jeanty hears when he's breaking away on a long run, check out my column on Raiders.com.
Look closely. You'll see the great outdoors and an SUV fully equipped to conquer it. A 4x4 designed to handle muddy trails and steep hills. Load up the gear and load up on adventure. The Ford Bronco SUV. It's time to see Ford in a new light. Now lease Bronco for just $469 a month, plus Jeep owners get $2,000 cash back at your Southern Nevada Ford dealers.
The power of we is all for one. It's all for you. It's always there for you. It completes your circle. It says you've got a team even when you're out there alone. And with Intermountain Health in your circle, you'll always have the care you need to live the healthiest life possible. That's the power of we. Intermountain Health.
Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel. You in?
Welcome back to Raiders Roundtable. Our Pro Bowl tackle, the great Lincoln Kennedy, joins us. And Lincoln, another tough one. A lot of good things happened. Ashton Jeanty, the Raiders were able to run the football, but it came down to a couple of big turnovers. That was the difference in the game.
I'm not big on moral victory, so the only thing that matters to me, did you win or did you lose?
Yeah.
I could give a damn about the rest of the stats. That's the only thing that cares about. But much to your point, JT, it was a good game, and it was one of those games where a lot of the naysayers were looking for Ashton Jeanty. They were looking for him. And as I've told you guys, and we've talked about it extensively, there's only one ball. So if I'm Geno Smith, I'm wondering, well, I've got Brock Bowers, I've got Trey Tucker's coming to the zone, I've got Ashton Jeanty, I've got all these pieces that I'm trying to use. But it has not translated in wins for this team. This team has continued to struggle. And after a month of football, I have my assessment of where I think they are. But for the most part, they still need to put wins together in order to keep that confidence or build that confidence for the future.
Link, how do you feel about being able to, coaching staff-wise, how they're able to go from, a moderate to low running dose to what they were able to do yesterday with 200 yards? What does that say about how the coaches are handling the running game, the offensive line, and the running back position?
Well, what you're doing is you're putting the trust back from the coaching staff back into your players. When you call that type of game plan, you leave it out there. This is the big thing. I've always said that in order for the Raiders to get better, they've got to play. They've got to play on a game time level, a game time experience, and get better. They have to learn how to learn each other's behaviors and movements through these tough, difficult times. It would be nice if you have wins on the back of it, but the Raiders are just not collectively not that good of a team. And it's a spoiler when you see such a tremendous game out of this defense, out of Max Crosby and what they were able to do yesterday, and you're not able to follow it up. But I will say this, it's a gauge for the Raiders to see where they are because now they've seen they can run the football. They have ways of running the football. Maybe they can create some staple plays as far as run, as far as pass. But this offense through 4 games has yet to have a real true dose of fluidity or any type of consistency when they do things. They ran 52 plays yesterday. They ran 58 plays the week before against the Commanders. Guys, that's not enough plays for an offense to get in a rhythm in the game.
Lincoln, our audience needs to know why there are several swing and misses, whereas an offensive lineman goes one way and another goes the other way, and a player right in front of them is not guarded. That has happened multiple times this season in really big spots that have helped cost the Raiders these games.
You remember when I told you this offensive line has to play together? Just for that reason. It's a matter of communication. Here's the thing. If you're experienced with the man next to you, goes up to the line and you see a look, both of you should be clicking. This is what we do with this look. It should be clicking. If you don't know or you're unsure, you look to your guard, or I look to my guard, or I look to my tackle, and say, okay, we got a scoop block to the linebacker. Me and you got 79 to 58, whatever it is. Communication. This team doesn't talk enough collectively. And the fact that they're at home yesterday in front of a Bears crowd, which seemed to be loud, doesn't excuse the fact that they need to communicate. They need to get better communication. It's absolutely inexcusable for two professionals to split. Guard goes one way, tackle goes the other way. Oh, there's a wide open, unblocked man in the hole.
Wow. I tell you what, off the offensive line, how do you prepare for like a grinder like Ashton, and then the speedster Raheem comes in? Does that change your technique? Does that change how you're blocking?
No. Don't change your blocking. Only thing that would change your blocking is the play called. And I don't know if Chip Kelly has a special plays for Raheem or if he has special plays for Ashton or he just calls run plays. I don't know that. I've never played for Chip. But that's the only thing that's different. You don't look in the backfield and say, oh, I've got number 2 or I've got 31 or I've got 3. I'm blocking different. No, you block 46 power the same way every time. Depends on what the defense looks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, let's get to Geno. I'm shocked that he's struggling at this level at home with the 6 interceptions. And when I think Geno breaks the huddle, he's breaking it in time. He has the ability to change the play. He's got good offensive weapons. And on some of the turnovers, I think the protection's a little bit off in front of him. But several of them, he's just thrown it to a spot. And you and I were sitting in the booth, Lincoln, and he was literally staring at the safety and throwing it to him. You could see that the Bears were jumping routes and they knew the ball was coming their way.
The Bears took a page out of what the Chargers did on that Monday night game. They knew that they could disguise their Tampa 2, but more importantly, they also knew that they could jump. The safety could jump not on the first vertical route, the second vertical route, because he knew that was the window that Geno likes to throw between the safety and the corner in that type of defense. And the safeties, he's thrown 3 interceptions this year, and it's only been 4 games. The safeties are watching that. They're staring him down. They know he's not going to take that seam route. He's going to take that outer edge go route. And look, you're sitting next to a Hall of Fame corner who can explain it better than I can. That Tampa 2, when you disguise it well, can be a good defense. But when you decide that you're going to go, you have your mind made up at the snap of the ball where you want to go with the football, that leads to turnovers.
Yeah, and that leads me to a healthy Brock Bowers can sometimes play better than the coverage disguise. So when you have a coverage disguise, Tampa 2, usually in Tampa 2, you have someone running down the middle to cover that middle seam route. And that's the whole thing about Tampa 2. And so the Chargers used their safety the other day. I think they were using their free safety or the linebacker. But an unhealthy Brock Bowers, who at some point you could have the Tampa 2 defense and have him covered, still throw him the ball, and he's able to overcome a great defensive call. So I think that's one of the issues kind of we're dealing with. We don't have that one player right now who can overcome a great defensive call, who can beat the one-on-one matchup. So that brings me to coaching staff. If you know that's the issue, how do you fix that if you're Chip Kelly, if you're Pete Carroll? How do you fix that along with Geno Smith?
You have to develop those short and intermediate passing games to build confidence for your quarterback. That's what you're looking to do. Whether it's, double slants, whether it's anything, you got to get away from the tunnel and the bubble screens. That's almost just like an aggressive outside run. That's not a pass. But it does help build confidence for a quarterback. The other thing is that because the Raiders aren't a big screen team, inner screen team, not the bubble screens, not the tunnel screens, or the tunnel screens to the wide receiver, because they're not a big screen team, that's another way that you can build confidence in completion. Geno Smith has been under such duress the first 3 games from the lack of the offensive line protecting. Even statistically better when the offensive line protects, as they had in the last 2 games, than they were the first 2 games. It's still a lot of pressure for this quarterback because he doesn't really have that pocket sense right now of how much time he has. So the pre-snap read comes down the line, EA and JT. You're looking at the pre-snap read, and you're like, okay, I've got the second route that's going to come open here, intermediate. This should be open. But, man, do I have enough time to wait for that?
Yeah, that's perfect analysis.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Because they know the plays, they know where to be, but Geno's under duress.
Yes.
And he's not comfortable the way he can be when he's playing at a Pro Bowl level. Speaking of Pro Bowl level, Max Crosby was tremendous again.
Can you say player of the year?
He really is. But, the final drives of the game, you have a defense on the field, and Max has got the cardio to do it. But Caleb and the Bears found a way to make a couple plays there and score on that drive that put the game away for him. Max Crosby was tremendous. He lives behind the backfield and an interception in this game. With all the balls he tips, he finally got one there, Lincoln.
No, I mean, look, that was our best offense until that point. You know what I mean? It turned it around and finally got them started.
Score.
When you look at it, I'm always amazed when defenses stand out because there are times the rules, in my opinion, have always been over to make the offense better than the defense because they want to see scores. This defense held the Bears, a professional football team, to 2 yards rushing in the first half. Are you kidding me? Are we talking about our defense? I'm not talking about the 85 Bears. I'm not talking about the 2000 Ravens. I'm talking about our held them to 2 yards. And when you're playing at that level, the defense gave this offense every opportunity it needed to win the game. If the offense was much more fluid, they should have won the game. You lost to the Bears. The Bears aren't a very good team. Hell, the Patriots aren't a very good team. There are a lot of very good teams out there. I'm not really sure where to put the Raiders right now because it's only been week 4. But a lot of things have to happen. And this is complementary football. When the defense plays that well, the offense needs to follow suit.
That's right.
But in one game, we had the defense play outstanding. We lost a little bit on special teams, and we still the offense is a work in progress. So this is a team, in my opinion, guys, construction in progress, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll tell you this, Lincoln, you can't have a field goal block to win the game.
No.
You can't. Right. So walk me through what happened on the outside, because that was Michael Mayer's position. He was out. Jonah was in there. I don't know why he's in there as a defensive player. You didn't play a lot of special teams there, but don't you have a tight end or an offensive lineman out there or someone else who's more athletic on that end? Like, they jumped it, they blocked it cleanly, and that just can't happen in a game at home when he's going to make that kick. He's got the length, the accuracy to do it. You can't have a breakdown of that proportion.
I'm going to give my boy Q Myers a shout out here because he found a little interesting sound bit. I'm not sure where he got it from.
Yeah.
The Bears the player came out and announced they had studied this snap, this routine between the center, the holder, and everything, and they felt they had an advantage. Yep. They knew the center, and I haven't seen it, so I have to look it out. But when you talk about the long snapper, though, sometimes there have been long snappers I've seen in the past that will grip the ball harder when they're ready to snap versus when they're just doing a regular snap because they have to fire that thing back there. They're trying to get it. The Bears felt that they had to jump. that they had a study goal that they can see on film. When the center tightens his hands or whatever he does, that's a tip. And they used it. They said they got close the first couple of times. They were able to get close when it counts to win the game.
That's hard for a center to change if that is your mode of going through it.
That's your telltale.
Lift your head once, look back, lift your head twice, things like that. So it was a tell that they were able to key on, and something you can't change because that center has to be perfect in every situation. So good on their part, but we needed to. I mean, how many times do you block it on the edge? Never.
Yeah, you've done this. You've played that position. You've done that. You know how difficult it is.
It's so hard.
Yes.
You have to get a great jump. You have to bend, and as you bend, then you have to explode to the kicking area, and you have to make sure you don't run into the kicker. Like, that is a great play by that special teams guy. So whoever the special teams coach is had that key and was able to use it in that specific situation.
Lincoln, let's wrap it up. Something positive. The run defense overall. I think the tackling was so much better. We emphasized that last week on all of our platforms. How would they come from the Commanders game and tackle better? And I think Coach Carroll emphasized it, and it looked pretty good to me.
I just wish that the offense was a little bit more productive in the sense where they kept the ball a little bit more. Keep this defense fresh, because we saw them fade in the second half.
Right. Yeah.
You saw them fade, especially in the fourth quarter. They were out there for too long. They could no longer hold the running game. But I will say this. Thank you, defense, for stepping up, because I knew what the Commanders did the week before. Teams were going to try to showcase and do again, and you stopped that. So you gave yourself a little breathing room, and we'll see what comes up with the next couple of games. But the way this is a cookie-cutter lead, you see how it does. When you do something and it works against one team, the next team playing them is going to try to do something similar or the same type of thing to think they're going to have the same type of success. So good for the defense that way.
Always great to have you, Link.
Yes.
Fantastic. We look
great
forward
knowledge
to
today, Link.
I wish I knew how to do it. I'd stayed in Holiday Inn Express. I got you, yeah.
There he is, the great Lincoln Kennedy. When we come back, we're going to go around the AFC West. We'll look around the league, and the Raiders got to get back on track.
Yes.
Indy is the next opponent. Got to have a big week of practice here and make sure they're prepared to get on the plane again, and this time go get a win.
The power of we is all for one. It's all for you. It's always there for you. It completes your circle. It says you've got a team even when you're out there alone. And with Intermountain Health in your circle, you'll always have the care you need to live the healthiest life possible. That's the power of we. Intermountain Health.
Look at the possibilities, because the day can take you anywhere. Soak in this rugged, powerful SUV. A 4x4 with the tech and muscle to go over any terrain. The Ford Bronco Sport. It's time to see Ford in a new light. Now lease Bronco Sport for just $369 a month. Plus, Jeep owners get $1,000 cash back at your Southern Nevada Ford dealers.
This is not a blue moon. Now it is. Now it's not. Now it is. Now it's not. Now it is. Now it's not. Now it is. A Valencia orange makes a blue moon, and everything a little brighter.
Raiders Roundtable is brought to you by America First Credit Union, the official credit union of the Las Vegas Raiders. Welcome back, everyone. Now we're going to take a look around the AFC West. As the Chargers lost to the Giants at MetLife, which was kind of a surprise. Jackson Dart played well, and I think the Chargers are going to get on a roll again after that game. The Chiefs are at Jacksonville. Jacksonville beat the Niners and looked really good.
Play some good football.
Yeah, Broncos are playing Cincinnati. They get a break because there's no Joe Burrow. And then we are at Indy, which is a really important game because when the schedule came out, and if you looked at the entire offseason, nobody thought Daniel Jones, Nobody thought that Daniel Jones would be playing at this level.
Yes.
They just lost the game. So if you look at what the Raiders can do, this is the moment. It was supposed to be the Bears, Indy, and the Titans. After our loss to the Bears, got to get rolling right here.
You have to, and the Colts are one of those football teams, I think when you open the season up, everyone thought, hey, you have a quarterback who's new, you have a running game that's something that can kind of dominate a game, similar to what we're trying to accomplish here. So it should be interesting to figure out if the Colts are able to take those steps that we want to take. And it's really important that we got to get back on this winning track. This is one of those games at the beginning of the season you said to yourself, hey, this is a possibility if we're playing right. This is a game we should win. We had a great defensive performance yesterday. Running game was explosive, and we even had that counter in Raheem. So it's going to be a great test, a great battle to see which club is able to kind of continue on that positive trend.
As the Raiders are trying to cut down on the turnovers with Geno, Daniel Jones historically has been a turnover machine.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's why he was moved from the Giants and got a $40 million contract, his last one with the Giants, and they let him go because he's a really good athlete. He can run, he can make every throw, but he's prone for turnovers. So that's a game we got to get a few.
Yeah, we got to get him outside of that pocket. We got to get him on the edge so our edge rushers can get after him. We got to get him on the ground. Similar to these quarterbacks who have a great job in the mobility and extending plays, we can't let him be a playmaker on Sunday.
Got to stop Jonathan Taylor too.
Man, he's a big dose.
That's a heavy dose where they want to run the ball and work off play action. But the Raiders now have their back against the wall with the slow start. They get an opportunity to fix it by going on a road trip to Indy. I'm sure Pete Carroll's going to have Max.
That's right.
And everybody ready to go because it's getting to the point where you got to start stacking wins, and the Raiders will have that opportunity. For everyone at Silver and Black Productions, thanks for joining us on Raiders Roundtable.